Today is November 28th, 2022. There are currently 0 new cases of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Really?
Of COVID-19, so we will not be wearing masks.
Oh.
All right, do you mind introducing yourself?
So, hello. My name is Ngoc. You call me Lee, which is my last name. I am a senior majoring in health science at Queen's Pre-Dental track. And I'm happy to be here, to be a part of the living footage.
I appreciate you being here.
Yay!
So starting off, how long have you lived in the Charlotte area?
For like 10 years.
Where did you live before that?
I was in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, and ever since I moved to the United States, I've been here my whole U.S. life.
And so your family's from Vietnam and you're Vietnamese?
Mm-hmm.
What's the biggest difference you've seen from Vietnam to America?
I don't know, the climate is very different. It's just hot and hotter over there, and it's very humid. Over here, although it seems to be very hot too in Charlotte lately, and very drastic change in temperature in December. But of course, the climate is very different, the air quality, there's also lots of tree. I live in like a big city, and that's like where lots of interactions going on. There's not a lot of trees. Houses are like right next to each other, like how a townhouse is. And in the United States, you know, like personal space. And after 9, it's just like super quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But in Vietnam, it's like always popping, always living throughout the day.
So the rest of your extended family still lives in Vietnam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I kind of want to start the interview there. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, how do you think family and friendship changes, or relationships changed?
I feel like partially because we're already long distance, our way of communication has maintained the same, in which like, of course, we still call each other. Well, because my extended family in Vietnam are mostly old population, so it was like a lot more worries for them. Because, you know, we might understand why we're washing our hands. We might understand why we're wearing our mask. But from like an older person perspective, they're like, it's uncomfortable. And it was really scary. Like, we didn't get out of the house for like the longest time. And when we get out, like, they got infected. Like, my grandpa passed away. And then like my grandma was in the hospital. So it's like a lot of changes. It's changed not only in the society, but also in the way people live. So it's just like very different.
Your grandfather passed from COVID?
Yeah, he passed from COVID, like the second wave of the Delta. So that's when it hit the most in Vietnam. Because it was really funny how we were like, oh yeah, the first wave, they did really well. The Vietnam, like, we closed off everything. There's no transition, no moving back and forth. And we thought like, oh yeah, that's going great. But then the second wave hit, we don't even know how did it get. But yeah, so my grandpa was in the hospital, and because he didn't understand, like, why am I wearing oxygen mask? He doesn't understand what is, like, with the lung, what is going on with the infection. So it's just a lot of changes that old people or, like, the elder population find it harder to adapt to. And it's just, that's partially the reason why he passed away.
I gotcha. And then you said your grandmother got COVID but didn't pass.
Was
she in the hospital?
Yeah, she was in hospital for, like, a month and a half. And it was really scary from like our perspective, because going from like, you know, seeing it from afar, we cannot like technically like bring her to the hospital because they're like very strict. We just know like, oh yeah, there's friends in this hospital, let's ask them about this, let's ask them about that, how is she? Or even when she need anything, there's not a lot of, you know, mobility or control that we can do. So that was more of like a learning experience it was a scary experience, but it was also a learning experience on how to navigate from afar.
Did you visit them in Vietnam?
I did not. I visited this summer.
Okay.
So like in May-ish, June, this summer. But during that time, Vietnam was closed off. Like, we couldn't get back at all.
So you weren't able to go to the funeral?
Well, they burned him down. Like, cremated, is that the word?
Yeah.
So they cremated him right after. Because, you know, like, you're not allowed to have the body. So you have to get rid of them. So throughout that time, like, our house, because the government was really strict of it, they put an X in front of the house that got infected, so you're not allowed to go out at all. And if you need anything like supplies or anything, you have to like call people and they leave it outside of your house, or like, you know, there's a little gap in the door or something that you have to put through, but there's like a big X, and like it's so different, like it's so strict on it. And because a big population of like Ho Chi Minh City, like my city, got infected, so it's just changed basically everything.
Did anybody in America in your family get infected?
Well, I got infected with COVID-19. I think all of my family member did. It was more in Christmas time.
Okay.
And
of which year?
Of 2021. I'm not sure. Wait, I can check. I think it's like 2020.
Was it the Christmas when we got sent home, or was it the Christmas after we got sent home?
After we got sent home.
Okay, so 2021.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it was 2021. I went to Ohio for Christmas, and I think that's where I got infected. Because, you know, like, even with the test, it was kind of uncertain, because it was like, oh, let me get tested, but you need a few days for your antibodies to show up and for the thing to show up. So all of us were like negative. We're like, oh yeah. But then after that, we're like, oh, we got infected. So that was like an iffy time, you know?
So your entire family got infected with COVID?
I think so. Everybody did.
How was did you have any symptoms, your experience with it? Did you feel sick?
It was really bad. Like, I guess my body didn't respond to it well. So it took me like a whole month in order to like fully recover.
Damn.
So like over Christmas, even after like 2 weeks after New Year's, I was still infected, and like I lost my voice. Surprisingly, I didn't lose like my taste buds, but it was like basically like flu. I was like losing my voice and also coughing, and it keeps showing up the antibodies. So yeah.
Gotcha. So obviously being a college student, we got sent home. How was that experience for you, going from in person to online?
I feel like we got robbed. Definitely, I feel like we got robbed like 1.5 years. Like the second semester of freshman year and then the whole sophomore year. Even when we get back on campus in junior year, the experience was not the same with everybody wearing masks and so many restrictions over how many people can attend an event and stuff like that. So the transition was not as smooth as I intended to be. Well, obviously we're young, we're able to navigate technology better in terms of like Zoom and TikTok, right, and trending like that. So we find time, but it was really a lot of, I guess, emotional burnout, and also burnout coming from the sudden change from that semester. I remember it took, like, I was burnt out. I was burnt out completely. I couldn't do the work because I didn't even want to look at my computers for long. And I feel like even though it's cost to a burnout, I kind of appreciate it because I changed my major during that time.
Okay.
It gave me like a little more time to think about what do I want, and is this the path that I want to be for like after the whole year. So yeah.
What was the major you were going to?
So I was pre-nursing.
Okay.
And I got into a nursing program at that time already. And they were asking like, oh, like do it. Not like do it, but like, oh, if you want to have a spot, deposit or something like that. And that was the time where I was like, well, I mean, I should, because I mean, I know I want to be a dentist, but I have always been scared that what if I didn't get into dental school? And of course, the education system is a little bit different where you have to do undergrad and apply for dental school. In comparison to nursing school, after 4 years, you get out, you get money, and you start working. So I was thinking of more of like, I guess like money, easier making way. But even when after I got accepted to nursing school, I realized I was not that happy. And I feel like the hospital setting was not for me. So I did research.
What made you think the hospital setting wasn't for you?
I like the internet, like interpersonal connections. Nurse responsible for the whole floor.
Yeah.
But I like to know it from person to person. And I feel like I don't like how like I guess like insurance work everywhere, but dental insurance is very different from medical insurance. And I enjoy it more with the connections that dentists have with their patients in comparison to doctors or nurse have with their patients. Nurse to patient is more like caring, but dentist to patients are more like not diagnosed it, but like more like, oh, there's different case of issues. I'm not taking care of him long term, but I'm taking care of the issue and try to navigate a long-term path for them. So it was really different in terms of mentality. And I know I don't want to go to dental medical school because like ultimately like general doctor is not my goal. So I realized that dentist is like a good mix in what I want to do in terms of critical thinking and still different daily basis care compared to same care for like month or year or the connections.
Got you. This might be a stretch, so correct me if I'm wrong, but was watching the healthcare system during the COVID-19 pandemic and seeing how nurses were treated and just that, did that change any of your decisions in changing your path? Or?
It did not, but it's definitely in a way make me feel bad for the healthcare worker, especially the frontline people, because of course like I have friends who are in the nursing school and also seeing like the firsthand experience of how burnout the nurse are. Even when there's like a little TikTok video of them posting of having fun, like comments would be like, oh, that's why people are dying. And just the disrespect and the, I guess the word is like not grateful for all of the effort, even when they fail to acknowledge that medical workers are also humans. And although it doesn't affect my decision because it's something like related to my passion that I want to switch to dental, but I do feel more of an appreciation to what happened with the nurses throughout the COVID-19.
I got you. Totally 360. On your hand, you're an extrovert.
I am an extrovert.
How was the COVID-19 pandemic in terms of being an extrovert?
I don't get to hug people anymore. It's so sad. Like literally when I come back, like I was reluctant to hug people. And that's understandable. Comparatively, like some people are not even comfortable with handshake. And we use hand sanitizer so much that it's like dry my hand and it's like overuse of it. So that's I think being an extrovert and being burnt out during the pandemic partially correlate to each other. I was burnt out because I didn't have that in-person interpersonal connections as I have in the classroom right now. I would see people through the box, and most of the time people are so busy staying behind that box that and we cannot go outside. So it's take away the liveliness of a college student life that I was striving upon. And that's why I received burnout, and even with the relationship with the professor, I don't feel them, like the body language was not there as much because through the screen, people find it easier for them to record lectures rather than doing something like interactive.
Did you feel like you learned as much as you could have being online?
Honestly, it's like a 50-50. For some class, I feel like, because I don't understand what's going on, I did more research by myself, so then it was like I basically teach myself. But there are some courses where I'm like, oh yeah, I have countless recall of how many times I want to do that video. So I learned something. But I enjoy that learning process, maybe not as completely as I wish to.
Fair enough. How do you feel like your life has changed since March of 2020, besides like school, like obviously like changing your path for graduation and stuff? How do you feel like your life has changed?
I don't know. I feel like it helps with my personal development and character development.
Do you mind describing that a bit more?
I was, I guess, spending more time by myself really, besides academic, really allow me to know what I want and what I appreciate more. Even with family, Like I start to appreciate more like conversations that happen every day, but I never actually look at it. Like I was grateful that my house always have food on the table, and there are people who don't have the same thing out there. I start to appreciate more daily things like, oh, being able to walk on this campus, going to class, and being able to appreciate those moments allow me to be more grateful and be more current with myself. Going into college, freshman year, I know what my goal is. I just like boom, boom, boom. This chapter done, next chapter. I have everything head out. But of course, the pandemic was an unexpected factor, and it's kind of not only changed the path, but changed the way that I view the path. Mm-hmm. So I was really, I become more flexible in terms of like, oh, this is not the plan. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go out more, I'm gonna have fun more, I'm gonna enjoy, I'm gonna appreciate the friendships that I have and the personal connections that I have more. Yeah. I'm gonna appreciate more time with my family more. Oh yeah, spending so much time at home make me realize I like the dorm environment. Maybe I stay here a little bit longer. Yeah. I don't go home as often anymore. Yeah. And so it's changed so much in terms of realization and I guess the maturity in me, being able to see how in a way immature my mindset was going into college. And it's just able to reflect more on myself because you have nothing to do. So basically you just start journaling and see, oh yeah.
You journaled during the pandemic?
I did.
What were some things you wrote about? Do you mind if I ask?
So I read back my journal from Roadmap. Okay. And one of the quotes that still stand out to me, I cannot believe I wrote that. I don't know how the professors feel when they see that, but I said, I want to go out more and explore the college party life. I enjoy party life so much more without my parents' supervision or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, this obnoxious child really wrote this for like a grade assignment. I almost ran out of things to say. But it was so, I don't know, I was so excited to go out, explore, party, besides study. Like, I wasn't care about that balance at all. I was like, what is even balance? You work hard, you play hard. That's what life is. I guess that's what youth is. But I feel like even after I explored the party life, I realized like being able to explore different fields allow you to know what you like a little bit more. So as I journal, I can see like, oh my God, my 40 years old come out compared to like my 19 years old of going out. I see like, oh, here are something I'm grateful for. Maybe I don't like alcohol that much. I found out I'm allergic, by the way. Yeah, I threw up after. Yeah, but I was like, I always threw up. I just thought that was bad alcohol. No, it's just me being allergic to all alcohol. But yeah, I was like, whoa, something interesting. And I learned to feel the energy around me a little bit more. So I was, of course, extrovert, tend to be more likely to be linked to the word people pleaser. You like to make friends, you like to please people, you like to get to the best side of the people. But sometimes the energy that you receive from other people is not always, I guess, as positive, and sometimes it can be draining. Because as extrovert, you tend to listen and you tend to talk more, but the reciprocal energy sometimes may not be the same. Mm-hmm. And I start to realize it as I take things slower and as I journal with somebody interactions, I realize, oh, we haven't really talked with this person in a while. And they're not as like the best friend that I was thinking. It was more like situationalship. Mm-hmm. And it allowed me to, I guess, feel more of the individuals besides me, around me, and see what kind of energy I want to include in my different settings.
Did the pandemic, do you think, allow you to see what types of relationships were long-lasting, which ones weren't?
Mm-hmm. I think definitely, because of course, it's a long distance. Everything becomes long distance when you're in lockdown.
Yeah.
And the people who want to stay with you will find ways to stay connect with you. And the people who no longer, you know, feel that same way will not put as much effort. For example, like classmate. Some people you thought you're really close because they live in the same dorm at you. You go to lunch with them almost like weekly. But then after the pandemic, it's just path away. And it's not that because we don't appreciate each other anymore. It's because we don't cross paths as often.
Yeah.
And we realize that that's maybe more of what like acquaintance do. Like we learn, we're in the same situation together, we're in the same settings together, that's how we bond. But besides that, we might not bond outside. So that's something that I learned too. And I feel like the pandemic allow us to see that, which are like the good things coming out from it.